Hello everyone, it's a Neptunia unboxing today. Sisters versus Sisters. What am I doing, you're asking? Britta, you're unboxing a game that's over 2 years old. Yes, I am. And as you might have guessed, there's quite a story behind this. It's a strange one. There are 2 reasons why I haven't done the unboxing until now. The first and most important reason is the game itself. I received the PS4 version because that's what I had at the time. You may recall I didn't get a PS5 until way down the road, so no PS5. That's what I had to play it on. So did I play it? Yes, I certainly attempted it. In a nutshell, the game does not run very well on the PS4. Now, I've got the PS4 Pro, so I had been hoping it might run okay on it. But there's one thing I have learned about PS4 Pro, and that is that most Japanese developers do not do a special enhanced for PS4 Pro version, as you may find on many Western games. So it doesn't matter, old PS4, PS4 Pro, it all plays pretty much the same. So I had severe problems with all sorts of performance issues, from not just stuttering and incredible lags, input lags, to graphics just showing a snow flurry of white artifacting in combat. I couldn't really play it properly, and I felt I couldn't assess it properly. So this put me in a bit of a bind because, as you're aware, I like to do a video format where I combine the unboxing with a first impressions and a bit of review of gameplay added segment. That's my special thing. I like doing it that way. It makes sense to me. So I felt like I was stuck, and I thought, okay, I'll just have to wait until I can play the game on a platform where it plays better or properly. And that's what I conveyed to Idea Factory North America, who had very kindly sent me the limited edition for unboxing. And that is what we will do today. I will talk about the game in a separate video. I decided it makes sense to do that, and I want to do a more general Neptunia video. I've been playing Neptunia now for 12 years, and yes, I think it's time for an overview and for some thoughts about, did they go in the right direction? What's happened to the Neptunia franchise? I feel I need some closure on all those questions, so this game will fit into that theme very well, and I'm digging out all my other Neptunia games, and I've got a lot, and I will try and cover most of them and just talk about Neptunia. So that's coming down the road. So I'm putting the PS4 version aside for the time being. Okay, so it took me a while to get around to this, obviously. It came out in early 2023. I had some eye problems that required tricky treatment, really. So all that caused a further delay. That's why I have to wear tinted glasses now most of the time, so just so that you know. But the main reason why I delayed doing the unboxing here is that I had a problem with one of the items. Now, I have to say this is really rare because I've unboxed a lot of Idea Factory limited editions over the years. And I have to say, as a rule, I found the quality of the limited editions always to be incredibly reliable with Idea Factory. But here's what happened. When the shipping box arrived, Poodle Pa did the, outer unpacking, and he brought it in to me, and he said, "Britta, I think you're going to have a problem with this." Now, I have to mention that I have got an incredibly sensitive nose. My olfactory sense is hyperdimension, whereas Poodle Pa is completely the opposite. His olfactory sense is in a universe far, far away. So when he comes in and says, "There's one item here and it just smells awful," I thought, whoa, this is serious. And it was. The item is a desk mat. Idea Factory calls it a mouse pad, but to me a mouse pad is smaller. To me, this size is not a mouse pad, but a gigantic desk mat. It's enormous. I've got a few desk mats, and they're all just a bit smaller than this one. So this is an extra deluxe size. But the smell, the rubber smell, drove us round the bend. We tried dealing with it in the usual way that we do. We hung it outside. Fortunately, it was summertime, and in the gentle warm breeze, we let it waft for 2 weeks. And we brought it in. No difference, nothing. We hung it in the garage for another 4 weeks. Nope, the smell was not budging. Now, I'm going to deep dive a bit into rubber here, into latex, so yes, apologies, but I think it is necessary to understand the issue. I'm a big fan of latex. I think it's a fabulous material if it has been processed correctly. Processing raw rubber is a very complex undertaking. I did a lot of research on all that years ago already because I have some latex products in my home and I wanted to make sure I had top quality and without any of the rubber smell. It's very, very fortunate that latex is one of the few things I'm actually not allergic to. Latex or rubber allergy is a very serious matter. People can get very sick from it, and in some cases, even death is possible. So, care needs to be taken. I would be in favour of manufacturers being obliged to declare any rubber latex content in their products. There's no legal requirement except for medical products. Here where I live, I sometimes buy like kitchen products, like those kitchen gloves, and the boxes always have a warning on them if the product contains any latex rubber. And I think that's a wise precaution because people who have that allergy can be easily triggered. So obviously I checked with Idea Factory, and the components in this desk mat are polyester, which would be on the top here, and rubber. Now the rubber in this desk mat is really quite thick. It's a bit thicker than most of the other desk mats I have, and it's pretty heavy as well, which means it's not going to slide about. It's designed to be a high quality desk mat. So it's a crying shame that this rubber smell issue is there. And I now have to ask you guys, those of you who got the limited edition, did you notice anything? Have you had a problem with the rubber smell, or is it maybe just an isolated instance for certain batches? I have no idea. I've never heard anybody mention it. Do let me know. So as you can see, the illustration here is really, really neat. It's all the main characters and some other important characters lined up here in a row, and I just find it incredibly appealing. I think it's a great design. So we have the original 4 goddesses at this end here, and then following along we get their younger sisters, and then a few other characters from the franchise, and what looks like... People often ask me whether I have a favourite character. While I have been a Neptunia fan since basically 2013, I'm not the sort of fan who goes over top, over particular fan service or just one character who's absolutely the best. And no, I quite like them all. I have to admit that I don't much relate to Blanc for some reason. I'm just neutral where she's concerned. But Neptune, how can anybody not like Neptune? She is such a lovable airhead, but in the end she always does the right thing. Yeah. Noir? She's a sort of grumpy, reclusive, tsundere character that I recognise a bit, and Noir I can relate to. Vert always strikes me as a bit different from the other 3 because while she's silly as well, I mean, she plays video games all night. Who would ever do that? Yes. She otherwise seems to be sort of more adult, so I see her a bit differently. So what did we do to get this mat into usable shape so that I can handle it and be close to it without reeling from the rubber smell? Well, we tried all the usual recommended, home remedies for dealing with unpleasant smells. The usual heavyweight to be used for that is chlorine, but we were a bit hesitant. We tried a very, very mild solution. It actually didn't do very much. I tried bicarbonate of soda. That's my usual go-to. No. But what did make a difference was a dilution of white vinegar. And we did several treatments of that, and that reduced or dampened down the smell to such an extent that I only notice it if I'm really, really close up to the mat. Otherwise, it's fine. I can, use it. So if there's somebody else out there who had a problem with the rubber smell, that's the treatment that worked best for us. A solution of white vinegar. So that's the story of this beautiful desk mat. And obviously they couldn't fit that into the box. That was impossible. So it comes separate, like the game. Finally, we are getting around to opening up the cellophane on this. The box. So the front cover shows us the 4 younger sisters. And obviously there's a reason why the game is called Sisters versus Sisters. If you haven't played it yet or looked into it, I won't go into the plot, but it's about the older sisters, the goddesses, encountering an unusual difficulty and the younger sisters having to step in. And yes, I'll talk more about that when I do the actual Neptunia games video. On the side panels, we have the 4 characters. So it's just a nice lift up kind of box. And the first thing that greets us is what I like to think of as the Idea Factory signature Steelbook. Idea Factory specialises in doing a special size Steelbook, and I've had some absolutely beautiful ones. A little bit of reflection there due to the glossy surface. And the interior illustration features Artbook. So here we have the soundtrack Next Gen Tunes, so the younger generation. However, we only have 9 tracks. Not sure why, but just saying that's all there is on it. As usual, I will pick a few tracks and use them in between for background. And the Artbook, the Planep Tower Archives. It's hardback, and the chapter listings are what is Neptunia? Good question. Characters, swimwear, illustrations, event scenes, backgrounds, rough sketches. So just over 40-something pages. I'll have to be careful because, as usual, there could be some spoilers lurking. This is actually neat. There is a lot of info in there. I always like having text with the illustrations, giving a bit of background. So here is a whole section on who are the sisters, providing the background really you need for the game if you aren't already very familiar with the Neptunia world. Then come the individual character illustrations. Here is Neptune, a purple heart. I have to say, the layout of the pages, how everything's arranged, it's just so professional and everything's just spot on, really. You know, I can't pinpoint anything where I would say, well, that should have been a bit bigger or smaller, or they should have put the text in a different place. No, it's just really optimal. Noir, Black Heart. Yeah. Vert, or Ver in French, I suppose. Shanghai Alice. Various CG illustrations. Backgrounds which don't actually come out that well at this size. And then some of the rough sketches, costume illustrations. And here are the really rough sketches. And that's the art book. That's a really nice one, and I think I'll keep it by my side while I delve further into the game, which I'm now finally able to play, but I will explain all that in the other video. And that's it, the limited edition. I have finally done it. Thank you very much for your patience, truly. I said before, Idea Factory limited editions are reliable, and yet again, it's got everything I like to have. Artbook, soundtrack. This one is a bit skimpy, so a minor criticism. Beautiful Steelbook is one extra. And the absolutely amazing desk mat. A nice box, and of course the game. I would like to thank Idea Factory for their patience and understanding in this matter, and to you all, as always, thank you for your time. Please keep well. I'm Food for Dogs. Bye-bye.